Hey everyone, here we are again at a Crash Talk. I am Tauqeer, I'm a developer relations at Tezos from the India region, and here we are connected with one of our very good friend at Trilitech, the Tezos Global, Beata. Hi
Yes.
Beata, how are you doing?
Hello. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm absolutely good. I'm absolutely doing really great, and yeah, preparing for winters in India, right?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. So here we are started with some of the talks. As we are diving much into developer relations, the developer experience, and the community management. All these words are getting into the buzzwords these days. So here we are connected with Beata so that we can understand the real logarithm of these typical topics with her experience in the developer relations and the community management. So yeah. So hi Beata.
Hey, hey.
So would love to go with your introduction from your itself.
Okay, so a little bit about me. So I'm based in London. I work for Trilitech, and yes, uh, I started. It depends how much in the past we want to dig, but my career as a DevRel started a couple of years ago. In Web3, but previously I was a backend engineer in local fintechs in London. I worked in first PHP. I know it sounds kind of ancient, but PHP, does the job. Golang, Ruby. So I was also, kind of full stack when I before I immigrated and to UK because I'm originally from Poland. So 11 years ago I immigrated and I was a teacher back in Poland. So I was teaching programming and web development and yeah, my biggest passion is like teaching and being close to people. So when I became very techie person, I very much missed people. So I couldn't find the balance, but I found the balance when I started tech rel career. And so I can have like situations like this, so we can talk to each other. We can get
Absolutely.
get the most from the relationships, because at the end of the day, you know no one really cares how much quality code you write. Probably it's going to be legacy the next day.
Absolutely.
But this is where the value is, and I'm happy that I could, just start this sort of career. Yeah, and have that Tezos ecosystem with me, and I think it's a great place to be where I am now.
That is so fascinating, Beata. Learning about all of these things and how you started with the PHP. Like it's regarding, but I'll tell you that I'm just 1% with PHP. I've never got into that part because I started with the backend development with the Django,
Hmm.
then into the Node. Meanwhile, learning Rust and everything that is being required into the Web3 spaces. Then I heard about the Smart Pi. Then I got started with the Tezos and I got hired in the Tezos itself. So yeah, that has been my background. And absolutely, the time I was learning about the Tezos and you know, what do we typically call as the Smart Pi things and the Lego. I
Yeah.
was in my third year or second year of my college, and
Hmm.
I was totally leading the Tezos club at my college or university, you must say. And back in 10th of November, today 7th of November, no, back in 10th of November 2022, I chatted with the Tezos club itself. And then just after 2 years, I'm here standing in front of you, having a talk with you from Tezos itself. So that's a great thing. That's a great thing.
So look like you're like how it actually works, like you have your life journey that is your also a developer journey, and your stack is your life. Your tech stack is actually part of your life. And
Absolutely right.
this is there is in my opinion there is huge connection between the things that you love doing, the things that you would like to build, and the relationships with people, because you wouldn't probably even start Tezo's journey, yeah, if you didn't meet
Mm.
people. And sometimes you just bump on some person by accident, but I do believe it's kind of fate,
Exactly.
and it's all connected. It's yeah.
It's totally yes. At the time you use the word of faith, it's totally a faith. It was an accident how I got connected with some of the people that
Yeah.
helped me to drop into this place. But yeah, that has been typically really amazing, and I've been learning every day. Every day is a teaching day. I do teach, advocate, and learn from the people as well. So
Yeah.
that is the most important factor from mine. So yeah, like if I must say that like what's that key point uh, that made you to get started with the development, the software development, you must say anything like what was that key point? We would love to know. Our audience would love to know how you get
Oh,
started.
okay. That's a great question because when I was little, I was breaking things. Like starting with
Uh-huh.
like cameras, radios. I had like one of those screwdrivers. Like I was trying to figure out how it works, and then I
Uh-huh.
was breaking it. But at some point, I was started fixing it. When I
Mhm.
got my first computer, I probably my sister has a talent to break things as well. So I
Mhm.
needed to start fixing things. And yeah, I broke my very first computer, like software wise, for after I think 1 week of using it, and my dad got pissed off because they need to get like an IT guy fixing it, and he said like, oh, I've never seen the damage like this, because I just literally deleted all the starting files from the Windows directory. I'm like, oh, I don't need that shit, and then he said like, if you're gonna break it again, I will not get anyone to fix it, you'll need to fix it your own. That's how I got into. Yes, that was very bad. And then I was like, I'm sorry, Dad. I will fix it my on my own. That's how I started, experimenting with like Windows and everything that I could do to make it work even better, because the games were not working on Pentium 100. Like, trust me, it was really horrible.
I, I know, I know. I can
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
feel you.
yeah, and I tried to tweak things because I wanted to play games. And I was installing new stuff, improving stuff, getting more hardware in. So that was the moment. But I had the back surgery. I had 4 back surgeries
Oh.
when I was 14 and 15. And
Mhm.
that kicked me out from life as a teenager, as a kid, and computer was the only person. There was not a person. Computer was like, I felt like it's a person. Yeah, was the only point of keeping me doing things. But I couldn't do anything with hardware, so I need to experiment with software. So I started building, and I read Harry Potter books. So I thought I'm gonna create a website about Harry Potter. So that was my very first website I created, and thought I like building, because I was like, I'm a huge Lego
Oh.
fan. I like building stuff, and when I realized that I can, so I don't have to sit in like strange position because my back hurt.
Mhm.
Even now, like not at the moment, but I'm way older, and it's still saying hello from time to time. But so back then, the computer was a place where I could build again. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's how I discovered PHP, JavaScript. I remember I couldn't sleep when I connected my very first database to my website. I was like, oh, that
Oh.
was like, it was MySQL, and I was like, yes, this is what I need. And all those building blocks gave me some sort of empowerment, and I was like, all right. And then I started creating websites. I was into freelancing. I had a um, graphic design skill. I was doing a lot of graphic design as well. So I was always busy. I kept myself busy like all the time, and it helped me to
Exactly.
develop the skills, and it's that's why I love developing. That's why, for example, Web3 is a great space, because it's all about creation and developing things.
Creation.
Yeah, yeah. So
Creation as well as experimentation as well. What I
yeah,
say
because it's
that
very, yeah,
just
like,
break the things, build it.
exactly. And like, I worked in Web 2. I really enjoyed it. It gave me some engineering principles,
Hmm.
the structure and everything. But I think majority of the experience, how to, that very early stage, like, not commercial aspect, and kind of I don't know, uh, being a little bit wild again is where Web3 is now.
Web
Yeah.
three is. I totally accept this fact and admit it. How being a while to get in this space and it helps you.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
my journey as well. So like the core agenda for this podcast is to understand the word developer relations. So like Beata, my question to you is very directly. What do you like in your opinion or in your words, how will you describe like what is the core purpose of the developer relation, especially into the environment like Tezos itself? What do
Hmm.
you say?
Yeah. So relationships is where, we what makes humans human. Yeah, I think it's
Hmm.
it's 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 something very unique about us, that we communicate, we talk to each other, we listen, because communication is part of the relationship. Yeah, this is relationship, this is something
This
that
is
we establish.
absolutely we are communicating.
Yeah, yeah, so this is something that is very, very important. So developer relations is exactly the relationship focused on development, on developer. Like, so we have two personas, um, the developer, the builder, the person that wants to do something or learn something, or
Hmm.
just discover something, because he's got an idea, or someone else got idea and he needs to execute on that idea. Yeah, so there is something like developer journey. So this is like the idea, and this is the production. Yeah,
So
so this is where we come in. Yeah, so developer
that
relations
is
is something where that relation starts. Yeah, so, oh, I discovered Tezos. Yeah, Tezos is a blockchain. So one, it's very good um, technology, but how it's gonna work out for me? And then, you want to kind of talk to human, figure out, or watch some videos, or you can, of course, like, majority of the
uh,
developers will start from documentation, because it's, in
mhm.
theory, it's the very first place that you go to. And great kudos to my documentation team, because yes, at the moment my main role is the TechRel lead, because I'm leading a tech relations. So it's not only developer focused, we have like different tech personas in titles, but I'm going to go back to it in a second. If you ask about developer relations, so my very first, imagine I'm a businesswoman, yeah, and I run a business. So my client is the developer, yeah. So I need to kind of sell the
Exactly.
idea. I need to convince this is a good tech, and I need to convince that, all right, you have support, you have, everything that you need from idea to production, and that's it. I will support you on your developer
Exactly.
journey. So
Exactly.
going further, yeah, tech role, because developer is just one of the personas, builders, thinkers, yeah. This is one of the people that are using, tech, but also bakers, the validators for Tezos, yeah.
The validators.
Yeah, they are tech personas as well. Is that they're technical. Sometimes they're less technical, but they still need to use the tech, yeah. They need to
Exactly. Exactly.
install, set up the baker and like the bakery and etc. More than
Hmm.
that, the documentation part of things, it's also, of course, developer focused, but there's more people using documentation and all the learning materials. So it's integral team that we established just recently. We have three units: baker relations, so dedicated people for bakers. The
Mhm.
second one is the documentation and learning materials unit, that is brilliant tech writers
Brilliant.
and yeah,
Spectator.
people passionate about teaching. So Open Tezos, docs.tezos.com, the magic
Mhm.
happens in Techro team. And the
Exactly.
third one, that is, my the closest to my heart, is developer relations. So this is something that I am very, very much passionate about, and we focus on developers pretty much only. But of course,
Exactly.
where the overlap. There's a huge overlap between each section. Yeah. So bakers, they need some documentation. We need some documentation. They need some expertise. So we say about ourselves internally that we're a bunch of goats, because we're the greatest of all time. and everybody come to us when they have some sort of inquiries. And so we have the relationship with internal teams, especially the engineering teams, and the external teams. So my role is to listen, to get that data of what is needed and provide it to the right people that can execute on delivering the features that are needed. So
That's
that's my role.
that's sort of bridging role.
Yeah,
We all developers performs at an organization
yeah,
for which we typically advocate. Like we at Telos and Trilitech advocate for the Tezos blockchain, the Tezos mentality, the Tezos methodology, and sort of bridging part is being done in how we fabricate the things, how we provide the developer support, how we nurture them, and how we advocate the ideology of our Tezos or any blockchain, whatever we have.
yeah,
The developer advocate is associated to any organization, is being pitched to that user or any client, whatever it is. Here we have bakers. So the one who will be checking out this podcast will be confused with the bakers. So I'll be telling you, bakers those typical users which you do sign on or adjust a new block on the Tezos blockchain. So
yeah.
these are typical bakers, the one who perform operations on the Tezos blockchain. If you do any sort of transaction, you are in the baker's chain. So that is the typical thing. So I just did the thing so who can people understand who are new to the podcast into the Tezos so they can understand.
Yeah, it's a good culture, by the way, because I'm thinking because bakers are like very very important part of Tezos
Mm,
ecosystem. They
exactly.
make the chain secure. They make the magic happen, like what you said, with the block creation and etc etc. It's very
Exactly.
very very crucial part of Tezos ecosystem. And the cultural part of this is like a very interesting bunch of people, and we established a great relationship with them because of course they're part of the governance process, and they vote. They every single improvement on the protocol, every single upgrade goes under voting by bakers. And I think it's the cultural aspect of this is amazing, because sometimes there are proposals that they decide of like what is important. They can vote on like yes, no, etc. But what is also very important, that they do care about the future of Tezos, and that cultural
Yeah, yeah.
aspect. Of course, when the sentiment is low, and it's something, it's Web3, which is like waves of excitement and everything.
Exactly.
But they're the very first people that understand where we're going technically, where we're going, which direction we want to go, and how fast we want to um, um, create things on Tezos, like how quickly we can submit a transaction. And it's
Mm,
how like block time is affecting the speed. Yeah, because in general
exactly.
Web2 experience is very like seamless at the moment. I take my phone and I pay, and it's paid already. Yeah, it's done. And it's like
Mm.
one, it's not even second, it's less than that. If you want,
Ah, yes,
that,
exactly.
yeah, if you want that experience with blockchain, we need speed. We need the block time to be as low as possible
Low
and
as possible.
future proof. And because it's been 10 years since the white paper, and Tezos is there, and Tezos is focused on the evolution. Yeah, so every single upgrade happens every couple of months, and every single day we think about, okay, what we can improve, how we can improve it, how like bakers will react to it. It's a very complex setup, but it
Mm.
works. And we've been here like very very let's say long. Yeah, and we're
Yeah.
gonna be still there in many years. And this is the the key to survive is the evolution. And if like self upgrading protocol and the governance and strong community, I think this is the recipe for success.
Exactly, exactly. Key to success to manage the customers, take the responsibility, to keep them loop and to bridge the support. This is what I have also learned in my past experience in developer relations from
Yeah.
1.5 years and into also into the community and the student ambassador program from the Microsoft Learn. So this is
Mm-hmm.
what I also advocated. So yeah, that has been great. So we are moving towards some sort of another questions,
Yeah.
learning into the strategies. I would recommend or would love to hear about what are some effective ways to attract developers to the ecosystem, especially when they are new to the blockchain. So this would be the question. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think at some point in life you figure out that you like tech, yeah. And sometimes it's when you're 5, or when now it's, I think it's way easier for children to get into tech, because tech is everywhere. You can I see little kids with cell phones. I'm not judging the parents or the whole situation, but I when I got my first computer, I was 15. So I lived like 15 years without any tech, but I knew there was something that was always calling me, like, all right, so let's see how it works. Let's I remember my brother, my cousin, he showed me some games on Atari, and I was fascinated. And I remember, like, I knew that tech is my place since I was 5. So, and I'm thinking now, kids do things on with tech, but how techy they should be, and when it's good to know when to start, what to start. And there are way more options now. Like, my son is in esports college, so he is techy-ish, but he's more into gaming, and he can make up a career out of this. Yeah. So
Exactly.
I think we should start early enough, getting, teaching them, teaching the kids what the blockchain is, because of course they hear stuff, they see stuff, but probably it starts with the DeFi journey, but the tech behind it is even more fascinating, and like tiny percentage of them will be curious about the tech behind it. But yes, we need to focus on that percentage of nerdy kids that are like, okay, so how it works, let's have a look how it works. So they
How it works.
normally, they do some research online, because it's the very first thing. Like, when there was no internet, you go to the library and then you figure out, what's this. But I think now the very first place where people go, young people, is probably TikTok, or let's say in the internet, yeah.
Yes.
And you just Google stuff. You just, if you want to learn how to play the guitar, you Google stuff, yeah. And that's the beauty of today's world, that you can actually research stuff, and then you have, like, people that are willing to create content, to say, like, oh, I use it because it works for me, and they learn from their experience. So one thing we do is the content creation, yeah, which is like, that it does not require my time to be there in person, and plus it can be reused anytime, so someone can watch the video in convenient time for them. So this is one thing. Another thing is,
Hmm.
of course, conferences, meetups, meeting in person. So the online world is one thing. Actually, it's worth mentioning that one of my team members, Matthias, is responsible for Open Tesos. And Open Tesos is like a book, like a learning material
Learning
for,
material. Yes.
yeah, yeah, very good one. There's a lot of good things that you can learn from Open Tesos. And there's a beta version of like classes that you can take about Tesos.
Hmm.
Go to Open Tesos, check it out. There's a link there. Give it a go, give it a try. I think it might be very helpful for Tesos India to jump and have a look.
Exactly.
It's a good learning material. So you can do the online course. You can do watch some videos, do the online course to get like more in depth knowledge.
Hmm.
There's also online courses on Discord for smart contracts, for example. A
Exactly.
great source of knowledge, and you can ask any questions, Matthias, like, and he will just reply on
Hmm.
Discord. So this is like the online interaction. Of
Online
course,
interaction.
yeah, yeah, and hackathons, of course, like the
We
competitive
love
nature.
hackathon. We love
Yeah,
hackathon.
yeah, I love hackathons too. I was like, when one of my previous companies, I won, I think, three of them because we had the internal hackathons, and it was great source of innovation, by the way. And so we had the internal hackathon in once per quarter, and I won three of them.
Oh, that's
And
great.
yeah, and I was like, so next one I will organize, and I'll co-organize the next one. So I
Hmm.
think it was just great experience. So hackathons, the competition, you can do it online in your convenient time. It's great, but having that spirit of like people in room hacking, I love it. I love the
Again,
the idea of this. You need to quickly figure out things that normally will take maybe, I'm not saying months, but weeks, yeah. And the
yeah.
adrenaline kick, it's great. So hackathons is also great, and especially those in person, because like you can have like a little bit of pride, being there, meeting people. This is the relations part comes in, yeah,
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
This is what I want to say.
yeah,
Being in your developer decision, at the time you talked about the hackathons, I was like, hey, I'm also into these things. However, on the side of organizing part, mostly hacking the things, mostly organizing the stuff for the student developers, student leaders who are on the campuses, so they can dive into the tech,
yeah.
and also who are very new can dive into the tech the way you dived into the tech, and started building it at least even a very simple basic page. Even it is based upon PHP as well, why not?
Hmm.
So that is the thing. So that I'm into that part. And I believe that the upcoming question will be very, very relatable to Beata, right? What role do the educational resources play in the developer relations? And how do you ensure that these are accessible to everyone? I believe this will be the best question for you.
Yeah, I think I think from my perspective, from my
Mhm.
professional career, I would say the documentation is the core of everything. And this documentation got to be top notch, very clear, very up to date. First of all, because documentation is the place where is the very first place the professional and developer will come to. But the very, let's say, a newbie will also um, learn from. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think this is the very very first place, and it's accessible. Our documentation is in English. I know that other blockchains, they also translate, they also put pressure on having documentation in different languages. But for example, yeah, I think we all know English, and it's like kind of
Mhm.
universal language for tech. And of course it will be way more accessible for like new, let's say, if you localize the documentation, it will be good to for different countries,
Mhm.
for young people that are, like, for example, struggling with English. But I think it's very important that the documentation is clear,
Mhm.
clean, up to date, very accessible, and discoverable. Let's say, yeah. But there's more than that, because okay, some parts can be confusing. Or like people have different setups, and the place where they can ask questions is very important too. So, for example, whenever you need a little bit of like one-to-one support, you can go to Discord, for example. Yeah, you can ask questions, and yeah, I think great resource here is the um, community managers, that they can point to the right place. Sometimes it's just pointing to the right place, or if there's more technical um, aspect, they can reach out to us, or even we need to reach out to the engineering team, and that flow is where my role is most crucial. So that's how I see this. Plus, we just need to be present. We just need to be present in communities, in you know conferences. It's always good to have that presence there, and give people a space to create those relations.
Exactly, exactly. We should be having some sort of space to create those relations and understand the algorithm, what other people are telling us. Take always a time like we as a developer relations meet other developers and understand their perspective and understand their issues. So, indeed, the fact is, uh,
Takir,
yeah.
I think
So,
I've lost you for a moment.
am I there?
Yes, you are there.
Yeah. So yeah, so talking about the engagement and the the engagement part and the events part. So what roles does the online and offline events plays into these types of engagement strategies? What's your thoughts upon these things? The event strategies, the events, the offline, online, anything.
Yeah, I think the strategy is to do as many online interactions, because um, yeah, it's accessible for everybody. There's no let's say cost involved for like traveling, even time cost. It's very difficult to, like, I don't know, organize a successful in-person meetup. But of course, once per year there is one that we always organize, and this is the test dev, and it's a great place to come, and everybody's welcome. Unfortunately, I cannot say where or when it's gonna be. Hint, it's always like related to FCC, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
I got it. Obviously, I would be getting it. However, with our audience, we need to understand a bit more what has been your words. But yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So
Yes, that's
so
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Don't kill me afterwards.
all right, I will. And it's a great opportunity to meet in person. So that's the reason why we do the whole big thing once per year, so we can celebrate the communities, we can celebrate tech and everything. And I really hope that this year, like next year, of course, um, yeah, it's gonna be a big just celebration of the ecosystem, and uh, create a space to create those relations. So
Okay,
so I think, but now we're doing like online things. Someone can watch it, someone can listen to it. When you drive your car, you can still listen to our conversation. It's accessible for people in their convenient time, and I think this is
community.
very important. And then that learning time, you don't really have to go to very specific classes. You can just watch something and follow the instructions online. So this way, there's quite few things that you can do online these days, and I'm happy that the strategy is that way. But I think it will be more balanced in terms of like in-person meetings as well.
Exactly, exactly. I totally understand how we at the ecosystem of Tethers going to build something and how we're going to be invited. But yeah, I'll be waiting out. It's a sneak peek. Anyways, moving ahead and to our next question. Since we are building every day, communicating every day, and bridging the gap, it's a lot of work at developer relation, and it's a quite active work. So, Beata, what are some of the challenges do we face in a developer relation, and how do we address those? So, yeah.
Yeah. So um one of the biggest challenges for me is that the feedback from the community. There's quite a lot things that we need to implement, we should implement, we should take into account. And One of the biggest challenges is to get that data,
Mhm.
combine this data into very digestible way, and provide that feedback to the people that are responsible for
Exactly.
execution. Because if someone can say, come to me and say like, your tech sucks, and that's like, that's
Exactly.
it's everybody's can have like the opinion. This is the opinion. It's not data. So one of the biggest challenges is the art of feedback. If, for
See,
example, someone would come to me and it's like, "Your tech sucks," and I was like, "All right, so tell me what exactly, which part of my technology you are using." Oh, let's say X Y Z. I will not point fingers to
uh,
any part of this. I was like,
exactly.
okay, all right, that's fine. So tell me what sort of errors you encountered. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, all right. So explain what it means that it does not work. Oh, because and then you can dig, and for example, it can be a situation that the browser was frozen, and it's not something that I can influence, but just say like, all right, so you gave your opinion about my tech, but it was not generally related. The issue was on your end, for example. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a majority, but before, and imagine, like there's a lot of diplomacy I need to do here. Yeah, so if I go to the engineering team and say, oh, someone said that the tech really sucks, and well, it's just pointless. It's like, there's like emotional package there that they feel guilty that something doesn't work, and it's like not even related to this. So my challenge is to filter out everything that is not relevant, yeah,
Mhm.
and provide only the relevant part of this. And it's very difficult. It's art of giving feedback, provide the feedback,
Exactly.
listen.
Problem.
Sometimes I have like someone talking for an hour, yeah, and only 5 minutes out of this is the feedback that I can provide to the team. And that's
Mhm.
one of the biggest challenges. And of course, there's a lot of emotions sometimes. It's difficult. It's a community management skill as well.
Exactly.
But I'm not like talking to everybody. I'm talking to very specific people. And I think it's this is the biggest challenge, that I need to filter out all the things that are not relevant to very concrete digestible data that is technically needed. So that's I think the biggest one.
I totally admit this point, Beata. Getting into the feedback part, creating that feedback, collecting those feedback, and getting back to those people who are responsible for that product is a huge task because we need to already understand or answer those things, those questions to that person who is querying out at that moment. So it's a quite difficult work, and we had to understand at what point that person is getting stuck. Why is that? What is level of that person? What is the understanding of that person? How much that person is understanding? So this is what we have to understand. It's a very big issue, and I should be there some sort of process as well. We at Tezos India as well. I do run the Tezos Club communities, the program. I need to understand how these student developers are building upon these things and how they are understanding it Tezos and taking the feedback to them, talking to my seniors, to my developers, and taking away those things to the Trilitech is the biggest task. So this is why I do admit this. So this is a huge one. I
Yeah.
totally. So Beata, there have been a lot of people connecting to me. Hey, Tauqeer, how do we get into developer relations? How do we get into this thing? How do we get into community management? But here we are here with Beata. So we'd love to listen from you that how, for those who are interested in the developer relations career. So what skills and experience would you recommend to them? Please.
Um, yeah, there are two sides of the coin. The first one is, of course, the tech side, that you need to understand. You need to be willing to learn. If you don't like learning, it's definitely something that don't go to that career. It's definitely not something that you should do, because learning is a big part of developer relations. And having that technical skill, it's good to have, in my opinion, it's good to have a technical background, but it's not required. I've worked with many people in this field, some of them very successful, but they never worked as, for example, software engineer. So it's not required to be a successful developer relations or developer advocate. There are loads of DevRels that understand the tech. They do play around technology to to be able to teach. Yeah,
Yes.
but they don't get to very very low level, let's say, guts, yeah, of how
Ha.
things work. They just know how it works. They don't need to know everything. So I don't think the engineering background is required, but it's a good thing to have for sure. I have a degree in ICT and economy. It's
That
very,
is great.
yeah. So I have like a bachelor's degree. So it's good to have to be educated. So we encourage everybody go and study, because it's a great place to create relations again, and fall in love with tech, because I think it's about passion. And my passion for people is very strong. So that's what I said
Mhm.
at the beginning. Yeah, I did work as a software engineer, but I did suffer. I did suffer. Like, part of me, the social part of me was very much, I'm not saying sad, but I really wanted to be surrounded with people more. And everybody, when I was like full-time software engineer, they were sending me to every single conference, competitions, like, everything like this. But also I did quite few certifications, and because I love to learn, I love to then spread the knowledge. I was running at, for example, initiatives like roundtable, like for the senior engineers. I was, of course, the hackathons, and but like lightning talks. It's You need to practice
Mhm.
public speaking. If you're a good engineer, I think if you don't put yourself out there and just practice public speaking, you won't be able to be an even better software engineer, because
Yes, yes.
in my case, it turned into a full-time career, because I don't know, like a good couple of years ago, I did struggle to publicly speak. I did have like,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, because English is not my
it never seems so. It never seems
yeah,
so.
yeah. It's probably difficult to imagine for you, but there was a big language barrier for me. Of course, I did
Oh,
speak. I was I worked full time, but to be on stage and talk to people, I felt very insecure. And I remember my very first one. It was internal lightning talk. I was talking about the challenges of delivering some sort of solution that I was asked to do over a weekend. It was like tactical job. So I prepared for that presentation. I prepared everything, and I was stressed out, like I always get stressed out, even like any podcast, anything like this. I do get stressed out. But back then I said, like, I do struggle to speak in English publicly, and that was something that
that's friendship. That's
yeah,
friendship.
yeah. And I was like, English, it's not my first language. Like my grammar
Oh,
is like in a mess. I was very much focusing on what was missing, but I participated in one public speaking workshop about, like, like self-confidence, like, when you go there and you just like put the energy there. And
how about that? That is quite good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when you start with like, oh, I do stress, and I'm just like, I just want to hide, and it's not the way. And I know a lot of developer advocates that are like, very like, they do hesitate to speak
Yes.
publicly, and but it's like a muscle. If you participate in situations like this, it's like a gym for your skill.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
total it's a must thing for us. Like typically you almost say that.
Yeah, and it's like when you don't practice, you're losing your charisma. You build up the muscle and then you lose the muscle. Yeah. So okay,
Hmm.
build up the muscle, but keep on, practicing, practice. Go
Like
there,
this.
go for the meetups. Do the slides, and or just like don't do the slides, but just talk. And if it's engaging, if it's
Engage.
good, that means that you're doing your job right.
Exactly.
So
Right.
this is and this skill, you don't even have to be super technical, but you have passion for talking and teaching and sharing the knowledge. That can be a winning point to get into the DevRel career. Because if you don't know how to talk, if you're shy, it's very difficult and you need to learn the hard way.
Exactly. The point comes as like the advocacy partner. The time you need to advocate, you should be having a good sort of communication skill. And the time you are not having that skill, no, I don't think so. You should be standing over there. You should be finding some other way, or must be practicing those things on daily
Mhm.
basis to improvise that skill. So
Yeah.
this is what has been a takeaway from this question and answer.
Yeah, because you just need to
Absolutely.
like it. Like I know quite few engineers, and they hesitate to speak publicly, but they still do. And there's a lot of value because the value is where their knowledge is, and they
Knowledge,
need
yes.
to share. Sharing is caring. Like we learn from each other the quickest.
Learn.
And some engineers, they turned their career into DevRel because they just love sharing, and that's how
Hmm.
where I can say like I did that. And but it was, I think, a brave decision. I'm not like I'm such a brave person, I'm probably not, but it was, having a software engineering career. The software engineering career is very, you know it's a cool one. You're junior, then you mid, then you senior, then you staff, then you could be a team lead. It's a very established career. With
Established.
DevRel, there is always a risk because when there's like a low budget, the DevRel will be sacked first. It's risky.
Uh,
I know it's
it's
horrible thing to
totally
say. I'm sorry, I'm saying that, but in some cases, in like startups, the developer advocate or DevRel person is the very first one to go if there are like pay cuts.
pay concerns and we have to admit this thing and we have to understand this thing. So
Yeah,
that's totally the corporate thing and we have to understand and respect the budget.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a big value in developer relations. There's a book about developer relations. I don't know if you've read that. Let me just double check if I have
I
it.
believe Beata, it would be answered in the next question. The
Yeah.
very next question is the same. Like you have been working a lot. I have always seen you like always in the meeting on the Slack, so I never disturb you. So the
Mhm.
question is, how do you stay motivated and manage a work-life balance in a fast-evolving field like technology? Do you have any book or any podcast recommendation? The podcast like this thing?
Um, First of all, I think, yeah, let's start from the book. Where's my book? I'm just like, I'm checking out my iPad because this is my source of the books. All
Hmm.
right. So, first of all, I would like you to read The Business Value of Developer Relations by Mary. Oh wait, no, Mary. It keeps disappearing. I just want to see. Um, Tangle, I think. I'll show you. There's a lot of avocados because I like the illustrated ones. Yeah, avocados everywhere. So this is something that's definitely, I do recommend as a first thing to read. But reading, is one thing, but I think, stay motivated. Oh, yeah, this is the cover. Yeah, loads
The
of
business
avocados.
value of developer relations.
Yeah, business
Folks,
value.
do check out this book, the Wizard of Resolutions, and yeah, that's a totally great book. I
Yeah.
believe you have also shared this book to me. The back we talked back in September or August,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But it's a great book. I started reading. It's not completed yet, but yeah, it's on my way, and I recommend everyone to have this book, read this book, who are getting into developer relation and the engagement part. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
This is like,
perfect, perfect.
yeah, how and why technical communities are the key to your success. Because I think, what motivates me as well, because what motivates people? Satisfaction. Yeah. And how I get satisfaction from my work. So as a developer advocate, I think the biggest challenge is like, providing feedback, etc., but closing the loop. Yeah.
Hmm.
When things get done, it's the satisfaction. So I got the feedback, I provided it to right place, and I go back to someone, oh yes, that was fixed, and then it's like they're happy. That's what motivates me the most. Sometimes it's a huge challenge and it takes a while sometimes, but I will keep on pushing, things, to be done. This is something that motivates me. Good relationships, so conversations like this, meeting new people motivates me. Being like on the spot, being on stage, I love public speaking. It stressed me out, but I love it. I love it and I hate it. I love it and I hate it. I think this is the most the satisfying moment when people come to me and ask questions, and
Ask
like those
questions.
technical communities. But what is the core of TechRel is to build up the community, to create a healthy bunch of people that care. Like the
Definitely.
community, the sentiment is like up and down, and it's difficult to maintain a healthy community, especially
Healthy
when you
community.
join like a big community like Tezos. Yeah, there's like people all over the world, and some people, they've been there longer than I am, and that's one big challenge. But I want them to contribute. I want them to build. I want them to enjoy the time together. So that what also is motivating me, and I think it's the right balance, because it's very important for me to have that family time. And
Hmm.
I do
Yeah.
travel quite a lot as well because of my work, but it's always very respectful towards my work life balance. So
Hmm.
I stay healthy. I stay you know um, I don't know, like my mind is very, let's say, like I try to keep my mind healthy. Let's keep it that way.
Hmm.
To stay motivated to keep on doing things, is just keeping your sanity. Yeah, and there's another
Yeah.
aspect of my work that motivates me, because I cannot forget about great people that I work with. The team, like people that I have a privilege to lead. Um, and I have, like, it's a great journey, and being someone that gives direction, keep that vision, in front of
Hmm.
other people, but also to listen to them, yeah, and what are their struggles, and it's very important. So if you're a manager, you're a leader, I think it's first thing is the radical candor to read. It's a very good one, and having good communication skills, but also enough empathy towards different human situation,
Hmm.
because
Famous.
everyone's all about relations. Yeah, I think it's the keyword of today's talk is the relations, and developer relations is
Famous
just
position.
part of the relations. Yeah, so I can't imagine I cannot express how much the team that I'm working with internally, my coach, like the great
Uh-huh.
all-time expert, the TechRel team, is motivating me, because they gave me the opportunity to lead bunch of experts, and I feel like
Uh,
my experience is the smallest in this bunch of people, and they're great.
Inevitably.
They're great.
It duly happens like how we grow and how we build. It always like we are young and we are always and always learning every day. So that's a good spirit, Beata.
Yeah.
Since like the upcoming question is very important, especially for the women. like you are in women in tech and you have a great experience of blockchain technology and a blockchain domain. So, what piece of advice you would like to give to those young women who are diving into the blockchain space and especially into development relations? I must say.
Think about end user, because we build things for people. Like, it's at the end of the day, the use cases, like, the killer apps for Web3. Wide adoption is always a challenge for us, yeah. But what we need to think about is the end user. And of course, my end user is the developer. But if we build something, we need to have enough empathy towards the end user. We build for people, we work with people, but we use technology, and technology has got to be a bridge for real needs, real situations. And I remember when I joined Web3 as a developer advocate, but before that, I asked my Web2 colleagues, like, what do you think about Web3? And it's like they said, like, it's
Mhm.
not solving the world problems; it's creating more world problems. So I said, like, I don't agree with that. Let's debate. But this is like, it's a point of view. It's a
Quite interesting.
yeah. So it's like, be open-minded, learn a lot, be brave to discover new things. And I think, what's the most important, never stop learning, like you said.
Absolutely, I must say that how has been the inspiration both for the women and how they're diving into it. One must think about the end user, how you are indulging them, how you're giving them, how you're supporting them. That's all we need. The all this all being required by the organization to help them to preserve the thing. So yeah, the very last question for this podcast, if you say that, are there any emerging trends in the DevRel things you would love to talk about, like AI power tools, anything you would love to talk about?
So I think, like, Tezos wise, you're asking about, like, Tezos wise, like, what was the
Not in general. I must say that it's must be general. Should be
um
general.
okay, do you have any, like, a specific example in mind? Like, what can I talk about? Because I can talk, for hours. Let's just narrow the scope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tauqeer?
Could you please find? Could you please pardon?
Yeah. So um like, what can I, because I'm thinking, like, what should I say?
You can
What
talk about those Twitter influencers and those things that people just post randomly on the devil things. I don't want to create a controversy.
Yeah, I think it's, the yeah the, there's a lot of concepts, there's a lot of things to discover. And I think that the curiosity is the key here. And
Mm,
like, I think it's staying curious about, just sometimes there's like new shiny tech that you want to just give it a try. Yeah, just spend a little bit of time and just, like, oh, play around. And yeah, I think this is very important. And, like, with Tezos, like, for me, the most exciting is justice. And it's
justice.
very, yeah, it's very early stage. It's super early stage, and we need people to join Justice League and play around it and give us, feedback that is needed. And I think this is super exciting. But if a link is a thing, and I think it's a very important part of the development, and it's way more advanced than um, justice. So I think it's also a good train to jump into, because yeah, it's fun and playful, and it's got totally different vibe than L1 Tezos, because yeah, I think it's a good one to give it a go. Plus, if you have, like, Solidity experience and EVM focused mindset already, I think it's good. Yeah, so that's kind of like,
That's
I'm not saying
similar
forget
kind of
about it.
trend.
Pardon?
I must say, and And if you're talking about the justice to the audience, I must say, it's just a layer two roll up based upon Trello for the smoother transaction. You can check out on the internet what it's all about. So just talk about the developer relations, so not talking about the justice. But yeah, if you talking about if I must talk about the trend, I must say that people had started comparing the developer relations role with the business development role, and yeah, that is it. I just want to end the talk because it will start any controversy. But
Yeah, it's like with uh,
there has been one incident on the Twitter, so not talking about that.
okay, all right. Yes,
There
yes.
was a huge clash between developer relations and the business developers, so not
Wow.
talking about it.
Okay, okay,
Back 6 months ago,
okay. Oh, I
that was a
didn't.
thing.
I'm not aware.
I was sharing in the DMs.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's with developer relations, it's like I said, it's all about relations, yeah. And you can expect, everything because you deal with people at the end of the day, and you deal with different factors of like, sometimes people are not happy with things, and you just need to address it now. But let's don't
Yeah,
clash. Don't clash though. Keep it healthy.
keep it happy. This all we at the deliberation want. We just want the things to be done clearly and with the proper KPIs, key pointer index.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. So we have talked a bunch about the developer relations and its segment and how one must dive into it. What are the prerequisites? What are the things one can develop? One should be learning around. And yeah, do's and don'ts, good things and bad things. And we had Viata in a talk who had been a great at developer relations and had a great experience at exploring the things and learning each and every day. So yeah, thank you, Beata, for having us today, for making our student communities, our developer communities to stand with the developer relations things and with more of the knowledge in every region, not specifically for the India. Thank you, Beata. And yeah,
Thank you. It was a real pleasure, and anytime I'm here, let's talk. Let's learn from each other. I'm curious about your point of view, so maybe I'll do a talk with you as well. Why not? So
absolutely.
maybe this is something that we could invite you to my place. Let's say next time.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be get assisted, invited. I'm always happy to contribute and help the student, every community to grow. That's my role.
Great. Keep
Love to
on,
enable them.
yeah, keep on learning and stay curious. Thank you so much, Takir.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have
See
a
you.
great day, Beata.
Bye.
Bye.